5:30, October 14th, 2025. We'll call this meeting of the Legislative Committee to order and ask Commissioner Harris, would you give the invocation for us, please?
Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come to you today, Lord, giving you all the praise, honor, and glory, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for being there for us, Lord, when we call upon you. We just pray, Heavenly Father, Lord, that you'd be with us during this meeting. Pray, Lord, that the things we do are pleasing unto you, Lord. These things we ask and pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Before we approve the agenda, Commissioner had reached out to me today asking that we add, and I want to pull this up, so that we add on our agenda a request for an honorary remembrance from the Commission for Suicidal Awareness. Is that, I'm trying to read this correctly, for the young lady who had committed suicide in Portland. So, Mr. Becker, can you shed a little light on that?
Yes, sir. Thanks. Miss Janong reached out to me. She wanted to be able to be here, so she asked if we can do something to, like, just like you mentioned, request an honorary remembrance from the commission and suicidal awareness for Sophie, who is in the Portland committed suicide. I think several of us wearing blue today in her honor, but I told her that I would reach out and ask.
Should we do that like in the form of a proclamation? I think
that'd be
okay. So
yeah. So item 10E, maybe.
Yes. Yeah, I think that'd be a good place for it. And Commissioner Burgos got something.
Yes, I would like to add a resolution making the library board 7 members. Several people have asked about that, and I typed it up, and I can pass the copies around if y'all would like to have it. And forgive me, it's on, we were out of paper, so it's on the back of my husband's Sunday school lesson. Might get, yes, thank you. We should have enough copies.
So we'll add this under new business,
Yes.
number 9J. And through this is, I'm going to ask to reorder the agenda just a little bit to make it flow a little better. And this is no fault of legal. I was just looking through it today and knowing, thinking how this meeting was going to go. I would like to reorder item D. I would like to move that up to item C. I would like to move item E up to item D. And then item C down to item E. I think it might flow just a little bit better, and that's no fault of legals at all. That's just me thinking about how the meeting might go. So
say that again.
yes, basically moving D and E up to C and D, and moving C and down to E.
Okay. So C, D, E will just be
yes, just be kind of reordered. Correct. If there are no other additions, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as corrected.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Harris, Commissioner Burgos. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have an agenda. We have approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Commissioner Rogers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Chairman Becker. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is recognition of the public. We've got 2 citizens lined to speak. First is Ms. Laura Baker.
Laura Baker, 424 E.V. Wade Road. I signed up to speak on item 9H, rescinding resolution on construction and renovation policy. Now, I'm not really sure what's going on because it says rescinding it, but there's an amended version in the agenda, so I'm speaking under the premise that it's being amended. And I'm just questioning why we have a position included in there of a project manager when there's none in the budget. We don't have any, why would we make a policy that includes someone who doesn't exist? So, unless there's something, I don't know, but there's nothing in the mayor's office right now that shows that, nothing approved for this year's budget. Also, maybe we don't quite understand here in Sumner County the sentiment of we, the people. We elected legislative representatives here at the state and at the county to keep an eye on an administrative branch and to not let it get out of control. And what I've seen in the last week or so is just, hey, we don't just turn anything over to the administrative side of things and not be answerable to this body. And I'm hoping you'll reconsider those kinds of things. Including cutting meetings shorter and not having people appear before committees and all that kind of stuff. This is what the Strong Schools County Commission did that we had lots of issues with over 8 years, and I hope we're not going back to that. And then since I still have time, I think on my 3 minutes, cut down from 5, but I'd also like to say that I'm in favor of term limits, and I think that since a president can only serve for 2 4-year terms, I think 2 4-year terms would be plenty for a county commission, and I hope you pass that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kevin Baker.
Kevin Baker, 424 A.B. Wade Road. First of all, I also support the idea of term limits. As the previous person said, the president, it's good enough for a president, it should be good enough for all of us. I'm a little concerned when I see this local option sales tax on page 25. Looks like we're going to rescind something that the former people, basically they prevented Portland from increasing the sales tax. So to me, this looks like you're going to approve raising the sales tax or allowing Portland to raise the sales tax. And accordingly, then the county sales tax will go up. So that's a big red flag for me. But I also wanted to speak about the restructuring of the planning and, rescinding resolution 241114, the construction and renovation. Now, here's the interesting thing about this. I approve, and I think it's important that we get the county mayor involved. He hasn't been involved. In fact, when I look back at the records, the last 12 months, he's been at only 5 of the 12 meetings. And when I look to see how many comments and things that he actually spoke about, he had no commentary. So I'm hoping that we're going to see a little bit more transparency and dialogue, because ultimately the county mayor is responsible for administering and taking care of the buildings. But I also don't understand why we would exclude the finance director. Everything is going to cost money. You know darn well that. In fact, I'll buy you all a pizza when you come up with a proposal that doesn't cost us money, because that's what happens here, okay? We end up spending taxpayer dollars. And the point is this: if you give it to the finance director at the same time that you're giving it to the chairman of the Gen Ops, you can start that ball rolling, okay? It's best practice to have everybody on the same page. But that's not really the real issue I have. Nowhere in this, and I talked about it last Monday, nowhere in here are we holding our architects or engineering firms accountable. I would love to see in here something where we create an approved list of architects and engineers. And when people do stuff to us like the courthouse there, where those people, they did a shoddy job, left us holding the bag, they walked off the job, just like up on Liberty Creek, the Latimer Lane, we had an engineer do the traffic study, and now we're going to be spending $3 million to do another engineering study. Who's holding these people accountable? Put it into our policy, and don't keep giving contracts to people who screw us. I don't know how to be nice and get that across, but we keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. The one thing that I could conclude when we keep going to the same engineering firms is that somebody must be getting a kickback. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying, what does it look like? Why would we do that? That's just not good practice, but that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, report of the chairman, I have none. Report of the county mayor.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like, I'd like to address the items as they come rather than speak to them in advance.
All right. We'll reserve time for that when those items come up. All right, under old business, first item of business is term limits. We tabled that resolution last month. Item is before you.
Motion to discuss.
You know I hate those.
I may not get a second, so.
Is this something we want to take up, or we want to defer it again for another month?
I made a motion to discuss, if there's no second.
There's
I'll
no
make a
second.
second to discuss.
Okay.
So there's a motion second. Any discussion on that motion to discuss? All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. Becker?
All right, so I was just curious, I haven't had the opportunity to dig into, I mean, one of the major points that I've had on this, on term limits, is being able to stagger where all 24 aren't up at the same time. I haven't had a chance to dig into it. I didn't know if, we had talked about, the law director may be able to see how other counties potentially get to that point, or what the options even are. But without them being staggered, I would have a really hard time, implementing this the way that I feel it should be. So I don't know if there's any update on that or not.
I have found nothing to lead me to believe anything different than the Constitution says 4 years. We can't get around that. The only way other counties have been able to do this is when they've changed their number of commissioners on offset terms, and when they brought them in, they were taking the new 4-year terms at that time. The only long way this county could do that would be probably to reduce the number, to turn right around and increase them at offset times. So it'd be a redistricting issue.
May I ask a question? Is that just in charter counties, or is that in private act counties and 57 counties and 81 counties?
Charter counties would have a little bit more leeway, but this has been addressed in the courts as a constitutional issue.
And we are not a charter county.
Correct.
Any other discussion?
Other than, how many more times are we gonna bring this up? I mean, I was on the side of voting for term limits. But we brought it up and brought it up. We know the outcome every time we bring it up. It's gonna be voted down. I think it's time to just move on.
Well, we know that the way that the resolution is written, it would require a private act. I'm like Commissioner Harrison. I mean, the commissioner that has put this on the floor a couple of months in a row has every right in the world to do so. But it would require 16 votes, and it doesn't look like it's going to get there. But that is not to say that he can't continue to bring it up. The one thing that I guess this committee could do is we could dispose of it in this committee and then just allow it to be brought up on the floor if that's what we wanted to do to get it off the agenda. But I will acquiesce to the will of the committee on that.
Well, question, whether we
Second.
do
Oh,
away with.
I thought you called the question.
No, whether we do away with it here tonight or not, it can still be brought from the floor, can it not?
It can.
Yeah.
So,
It can. Item is still before you.
I make a motion, we just take it off the agenda. Commissioners can bring it back up if they need to, or bring it back to committee. That'll be my amendment to the main motion to discuss, wherever that comes from.
So we've
It'd be a
got-
different motion.
But that's my motion.
So the motion is to.
Strike it from the
strike
agenda.
it from the agenda, or strike it from this committee.
That's correct.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item of business left over from last meeting is the proposal to reorganize the opioid abatement committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to leave the opioid abatement committee as it is because of their work.
Second.
Second.
So that what? I didn't.
Because of their work that they've already done.
Since we've got a second chairman, we do have the grant director for that here, if y'all want to suspend the rules, ask him any questions.
Okay. Are there any questions before I suspend the rules for the grant director? Okay, we got a motion and second. Any discussion on this motion? All in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed?
Aye. Nay, nay.
Got 3 and 1, I'm gonna abstain, so motion carries. So the opioid abatement committee stays as it is. Next item of business is
It was 3 and
3, 1, and 1, abstain. 3, 1.
the abstention doesn't carry to, we needed 4. Am I
Well,
missing
no.
something here?
You
Well,
mean
we've
3
got
out of 5? right?
3 out of 5, there's only 5 present.
Oh, my bad,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you're right.
Commission meeting, you'd be right. But- All right. Next item of business is the Hendersonville Library. I'm gonna ask the law director, can you speak to this?
Yes, sir. This actually came out of budget. They've made a demand for some money, and I believe budget was going to, they wanted it to come to legislative to say, if you want to take control of the library, feel free to do it, and we'll give it to you lock, stock, and barrel, plus payroll, plus everything. That is my summation
Sure,
of
no,
it.
I get it.
The finer details I would defer to budget.
When this has come to budget, I mean, the way I read this, it looks like the lady's intent was for it to be split between the county and the city, and the county and the city are half owners each. So to me, that's the way it ought to go. I felt that way in budget, and I feel that way today. But the items before the committee.
That's a true assessment as far as ownership. Maintenance and money is 99%, 1%. So that's why.
I don't think this lady cared much about that, though. I think,
Right.
yeah.
So that's what's kicked it over from budget here. And I will say the ask that originated this was based on a will, I'm assuming is what you're referencing.
Yes.
And that will would have to go, that's specifically for that library, but it's gotta be, it's just an appropriation through finance, and then that money can be used on that building.
Yes.
But we're the only ones that have the ability to maintain an account for that money, so it would have to go through our budget anyway.
Has there been any communication with the city as to what their intentions are if they get their half?
They can't get their half, based on my understanding of how the funds are set up. They can only be used to appropriate against that library,
Yeah,
even when
well-
it was called a different library at a different
Okay,
location.
Maybe I've misspoken. What my question is there any communication with them as to what they intend to do to the building or for the building on that, with their part of the money.
I have not received any itemized.
Because the mayor's written,
statement.
I think, a very pointed communication. And maybe what we ought to do is ask you to communicate with him and see if they have a plan of what they're going to do if we act on behalf of their request.
That could easily be done just through an appropriation.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't need to jump through a bunch of hoops as far as a resolution or any of this other stuff, because we do have the money and it's there specifically for that building. But yes, I can reach out if that's the will of the committee. But we do have some other issues with the city currently too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I'm gonna make a motion to defer this 1 month in order to give the law director time to reach out to the city to get a plan put together as to what they're planning on doing with the money if this is approved.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we'll keep that under old business. All right. At this time, and I know this is highly unusual, but I'm going to call for an executive session and pertaining to a legal matter before the body. All commissioners are welcome to stay. Folks, if y'all give us just a few minutes. Call us back into regular session. First item under new business is the Veteran Service Report and Presentation.
He's not here.
Not here. All right. Move on. Next item of business is the resolution on the local option sales tax.
I'll make a motion to get it on the floor.
Second.
Motion and second to, I assume that's to approve. Mr. Rogers.
So has the city of Portland reached out and asked us to put this back on there for them to do that, or how did this make it back through?
The way I read it, all they're asking is for the ability to put it on the referendum. That's all they're asking for. I think this has been done in the past. That's the way I understand it.
Yeah, if I could ask a legal question, Mr. Chairman, would this affect the county taxes at all, or would it be just to the residents of the city of Portland if they voted to approve it? That's on page 25 of the packet.
Well, if we do it like this resolution, this one specifically declined to see countywide increase, so this should be city-specific or municipality-specific.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, if I may?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve as it is in the packet 2007-02 original form.
Second.
Motion second. Commissioner Becker.
I apologize for being slow on this. So this is a 2007. What are we exactly voting on right now?
So the city of, if I may, Mr. Chairman, clarify my motion so the city of Portland can go from 2.25 to 2.75 on a referendum. I agree with the chairman. They've had this once before, and I believe that it failed.
It did.
Legal advised that it wouldn't affect the county taxes. So if a municipality wants to do it, then let their people decide, because that's what we the people mean.
Okay, so this resolution was from 2020, back in July, and did it get on a referendum then?
I think
And it
did,
did not pass?
It did not pass.
So this is
They're asking to put it
basically,
on referendum again.
basically same request for, okay, I got
That's
you.
how I
All right,
understand
thank
it.
you, sir, appreciate it.
All right,
I'll renew my motion.
all right. Motion seconds on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the appointing of judicial magistrate
So moved.
Robert Watts. Is the
Second.
motion second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So D, E, F, G, and H all were requested by the mayor. So Mayor, I'm gonna let you talk about it since you deferred your comments.
All right.
By the way, for the record, item D is updating the building code standards for electrical permitting.
Okay, so we're gonna start with the updating the buildings and codes. And I would like a request a suspension of the rules and have Marshall Wright come and address this body about the program.
Without objection, Marshall.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, legislative body, Mayor. There's several things in your packet, but there's 4 items I'd like to address to the legislative committee that's separate from the budget, just because it's more applicable for y'all to be deciding on. That's going to be the September 14th, 2020 legislative meeting. That's on page 262. That's a meeting that was held to consider the electrical adoptions back in 2020. You may want to take a look at that. I don't know, but it's there for your review. The second item is the letter to the mayor dated 10 October 1st, 2025, and that's on page 254. The third one is a state audit questionnaire, and that page is 297. And the last one that you may want to look at is a resolution adopting the electrical code itself. You'll find that on page 251.
Marshall, just for the record, we don't have
Yeah, we don't.
anything of what you're talking about
Yeah,
in
we
our
don't have
hands,
those
so you might
numbers.
want to give us some cliff notes.
It starts on, Mr. Chairman, if I may, sorry.
Yes.
It starts on page 31.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I'm
it's
sorry,
just numbers
32.
differently than what
Yeah.
we've got. Okay, that's fine. I just know we ain't got but 83 pages in our packet. I don't
32,
know.
83.
I know y'all are pressed for time, so,
We're fine.
okay. If you'd like, we'll just take a quick look at the letter to the mayor dated October 1st. And in my packet, it's on page 254.
It's on page 34.
Okay, like I said, that we tried to submit this before the legislative committee back in 2020, and it was decided to be tabled for a future date, and here 5 years later, we're gonna take another look at it real quick. Mary Isabel asked me a couple weeks ago if I could put something together for the legislative and budget committees to look at, to revisit the possibility of Sumner County applying for electrical exemption from the State Fire Marshal's office. And what that would include basically is we would, if granted, we'd have autonomy to create a electrical permitting inspection sector in Sumner County in lieu of the State Fire Marshal's office. And some of the reasons I think would be beneficial to the county, and maybe some cons that you may want to look at too. I think it would add the convenience to the customer. It would be a one-stop shop instead of having to go through the State Fire Marshal to get their electrical permit and their inspections. They could come here to Sumner County Building Codes and get it right there. I know potential revenues is an ugly word sometimes. That's not really why we're doing this. But I think that it would be easy for us to be in the black year after year, because what we put together as a budget is pretty bare bones. But I think it may be sufficient to at least get up and going for electrical permitting sector. it would be a quicker response time on the inspection request. We usually follow up on our inspections the very following day that somebody asks for an inspection, so it's been my understanding that's been part of the frustration with the state and asking for electrical inspections. It could go out 2 or 3, 4 days, is what I've been told. And the last thing, it removes the financial incentive to red tag. State electrical inspectors, they don't work directly for, they're not employees of the State Fire Marshal's office. They're third-party inspectors. And whenever a electrical inspector fails something, then there's a financial incentive that they will get paid to go back and do a re-inspection. That's not the case with county inspectors. There is no motive to fail something because their wages doesn't increase, but it's not really the case when you have a third-party inspector, as we see with the State Fire Marshal's office. A couple things that may be of concern, in my opinion. I'm just here trying to present the facts. I'm not really going to push this. Is the county may need to adjust electrical fees a bit higher than the state electrical fees. That's to be determined. And at this time, the county has not implemented electronic permitting process. So that is something that we need to look at to mainstream our permitting process is electronic permitting. We're still kind of antiquated at that. So, but if the county commissioner decide that gives us a thumbs up, then it would be important, I think, for us to look at electronic permitting in the future. But until then, I think our codes department and our office staff can handle it until we can go electronic permitting. But anyway, that's I think the pros and cons that I see as the county applying for the exemption. And the last one is the state questionnaire, and that's on 297. I'm sorry, y'all don't have the same papers I have. But it's something that we're required to fill out. And send back to the state. This is part of the audit process. They'll come in and do an audit of the Building Codes Department. That will be done after the resolution is voted on and approved by the county commissioners. There's 2 resolutions, and one of them is to adopt new building codes, which the legislative body will need to take a look at that. And then there's a permitting fee resolution, and I'm assuming that's the one that the budget committee will need to look at. The questionnaire, state audit questionnaire, is basically something that we got to send to the state, and they'll come in and they'll review the codes department, and they'll audit and see how we keep our records and see if we have sufficient amount of staff. And then we'll take that audit to the fire marshal chief, and if they approve it, then they will send a form to the county mayor, to the county commissioner to sign. And that form basically, to my understanding, it has a transferring date, the date that the county and the state will agree that they would transfer the responsibilities to the county. It's a pretty simple process, I think. For the most part, the 2 resolutions have to be adopted, and then They will come in and do an audit. They'll come up with the findings and then submit that to the state fire marshal. And if he gives us the thumbs up, he'll send us a form. The county mayor and county commissioners will sign that form with a date of transferring the responsibilities. So that's kind of it, really.
May I ask a question since you're
Yeah.
here? You'll have to add inspectors, correct?
We will need a minimum 1.5 inspectors. They're going to require, they said they were going to require 3, but I'm already certified in commercial and residential. And if we have one full-time and one part-time, I think they'll go along with that, but there's no guarantee.
And you mentioned you'd have to raise the fees from what the state schedule is now. And the reason why I say that is because I'm looking back in the minutes from 2020, and one of the individuals that spoke actually is a constituent of mine, and his complaint at that time was price escalation and reduction in services. And I think I heard you mention that we would have to raise the fees, is that correct?
I'm not sure if the fees will be raised as compared to the state. If we adopt a Gallatin fee schedule, I haven't done a comparison of the Gallatin fee schedule with the state because there's so many things that need to require electrical permits. It's just really hard to do. Hendersonville and the city of Gallatin has their electrical exemption, and we're just basically borrowing what the city of Gallatin did as far as what they've adopted.
I get it.
Okay.
Any other questions for Marshall?
How long does that survey and all that take, Marshall? Should we decide to go with it? What's our, is it 60 day, 90 day, 120 day before the state says, yeah, go?
I apologize, I don't have an
That's
answer
fine.
for that.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's gonna be on their timetable.
They're fair and free.
Thank you, Marshall. I'll bring us back
You're welcome.
under the rules. The item is before you.
We have a motion.
No motion. At this time.
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman,
To approve it?
to approve
Okay. Is there a second?
with the exception of making, we didn't get a second, though, yet.
No, not yet.
What's your
Well, you can still,
My motion is to, updating the building and code standards for electrical and permitting. With a change of, if you'll read the, resolution, it's saying the 21 codes, I would like to change that to the 17 codes, 2017.
Okay.
The state of Tennessee is currently on the 2017 now, so I don't think we need to exceed what they're doing.
Okay. So your motion is to approve with a edit to the resolution
To
for it to
say
say
2017, where it says
2017.
2021, change that to 2017.
It's on page 30 in our package.
Right. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
There's no second. Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of second. Mr. Bergdorf.
well, my question was about his amendment, Mr. Harris's amendment.
Sure.
Why go back to 2017?
The state of Tennessee is currently under the 2017, and you would want to stay in line with what they're doing at the
Okay.
time.
All right. thank
They
you.
have to be within, all your codes has to be within 6 years of what the state codes are.
Oh, okay.
So 6 years from now, if they want to change it, they can change it then.
Thank you.
I declared his motion dead. Are you still entertaining seconded?
No, it was just a question.
So, died for like a second.
For now. Anything else? All right. Motion's dead for lack of second. Next item. Make sure I got this right. E is Cottontown flood mitigation plan.
Mr. Chairman, I would like a suspension of the rules for Marshall Boyd.
Without objection.
There was $100,000 set aside in this year's budget to purchase and demolish a house on State Route 25 in Cottontown. And through this process, we would acquire the property of where this house is. And so we're kind of going through the process to legislatively, I think, to acquire that property.
Have we heard back from?
There's
the
a
homeowner?
letter, I think it's, yeah.
I see it.
In your packet, there's a letter I sent the property. I had a conversation with Mr. Draper and expressed our interest in buying the property. And we discussed it about price, $60,000, and they're okay with that. So they're interested in moving forward with it.
They are.
So they are. And that's why I brought it before you to discuss. And this is all part of the, you remember back, Josh did a floodplain mitigation strategy for Cottontown, and this was an action item from that strategy.
And this, if I remember correctly, this was under the mayor's budget, correct?
It was under the capital project.
Yes. Any questions for Marshall? Any questions for the mayor?
Basically, what this is that we want to move forward with executing the purchase of that piece of property and subsequent cleanup of that land. And with that cleanup, I'm going to include, since we'll have one company out there, cleanup of the Draper house as well, that piece of property, because that's going to require some extensive, more cleanup than a trailer and a pair of gloves. So all of this will be included in that. So we'll work with legal to execute sales contract, so forth, purchase contract.
I think this will need to go to Gen Ops if there's a purchase of property.
Gen Ops or budget?
It'll end up in budget too, but Gen Ops will have to sign off on the purchase.
Any other questions for Marshall? Thank you, Marshall. All right, back under regular business, Mr. Rogers?
Do we have a motion on the floor?
No.
All right, so my motion would be to move forward with the purchase of map and parcel 094-035.00 as stated for $60,000 and to clean, I don't know what the right word would be, at the Draper House, Mayor, is that what you?
Well, that Draper House property.
Property.
Second.
Motion second to move forward with the plan, plus to clean up the property that's been kind of widely identified as the Draper House property. Any discussion to this motion?
Legal, do we need to put map and parcel in there for the Draper House, or, are you familiar enough?
As far as if we own that, right,
For the, yeah.
then we don't need to worry about
Okay.
identifying it.
And
Making
now
sure
this
we're all-
would, just for everybody's benefit, this would move to general operations is the way I understand it for the conclusion of that.
And then it would go to budget
And then
next
it would go
month?
to budget, yeah.
Gen Ops meets before budget, so we'd still be fine. Okay.
Any other discussion to this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the fee schedule.
Mr. Chairman, would that be moot since we didn't adopt the,
Is that moved?
It is.
It should be, I mean, we killed the other.
Yeah. Yeah, no need for it.
So G is restructuring of the planning and engineering department. Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so, in my discussions with Josh prior to his untimely exit, We talked about succession plan and the department as a whole. And we come up with this plan, and you see there's an organizational chart there. Should be in your packet that shows how we would like to reorganize this department.
94.
And this is planning and engineering. So it's my ask is that we elevate Marcia Boyd, who is quite capable to assume the reins as Director of Planning and Engineering. And then also, we will name Sydney, she is the Assistant County Planner, elevate her to the County Planner. She is currently the Secretary on the Planning Commission, so she can execute all the plats, all the signatories, everything that Josh had done. And then that will create a vacancy for a county engineer, an assistant county engineer, excuse me, because Josh will still maintain a county engineer spot, but with his additional managerial duties, we'll have an assistant within that budget, no new money. And then also, we would like to create a project manager position within that department. We've talked about this before, and we feel that a project manager within planning and engineering will create a synergy in that office because they will be working together on a daily basis, ensuring that everything is going smoothly. And that project manager is also not new money. We're asking for that third position that is currently vacant, that was appropriated last year, for this budget year, excuse me, for the third grant/project manager. We'll just bring that person down to this office and just have solely focused on project management. And that will give the other two the opportunity to focus on strictly grants and grants administration within the finance department as it should be. And so that is the ask that I have for this department. I've included the resumes of Mr. Boyd as well as Ms. Simpson for your review. Those are in your packet as well. And then, of course, with this, it's all while they're separate, it is somewhat a package deal. That would, by moving that project manager down to planning and creating that synergy in our building projects, I've asked for a review of the construction and renovation project, our policy. I have redlined that with my thoughts on it, subject to this committee's review and approval. And so that is the information that's before you from my office.
Yes, sir.
Just a point of request for information here. What is the finance department on board with losing that existing position?
We're in the process of changing finance director, so no. I've not discussed it with the current finance director.
But it's a vacant spot.
No.
It's a budgeted but
No,
vacant.
it's not, it's been filled.
Okay, well, unbeknownst to me, it's been filled, but I still advocate for the move. And this is no reflection on the finance department. I just feel that there's a better synergy. Josh and I had numerous discussions over this. We just feel that it's a better synergy running buildings out of planning and engineering under the authority of the mayor through the day-to-day operational control, subject to reporting to, as you see the policy, reporting to the county commission. And then the grants process, I wholeheartedly agree that that should be ran through finance, and the accounting of those grants should be ran through finance.
All I can say is I won't be here when it takes place, so that's why I haven't been discussing. probably more something to talk to the next one or Miss Browning.
Yes,
I'm just wanting some clarity on something. In my review in the past on the planning commission, the planning commission has a planning director. The planning director shall have the power and authority to hire, fix compensations, basically, and do everything that's needed of the planning commission. So the mayor picks a planning director under the statutory provision, but that has to be ratified by the commission under another statute that it references. I don't want all of this to get into play and then find out we haven't jumped through a hoop we needed to. So I don't, it doesn't matter to me who's who. I just, in the scheme of things here, but I just want to make sure we jump through these hoops to get to this position. And with the mapping of this, so I'm assuming Marshall Boyd would be, for statutory purposes, the planning director. Okay, then that's how we need to get him through this process.
let's make sure we understand, and I appreciate the mayor going through item H, but we're right now just on item G, which would be elevating Marshall and elevating Sydney. That's all that's before us right now.
And
You need a motion?
I do.
So
Well,
moved.
Second.
motion is second, any discussion on this?
And for clarity, we are not elevating Sydney. That will be a decision of the new planning engineering director.
Okay.
We're only approving your body's only approving Marshall. We're just doing this as a total plan that we wanted to present to you.
I got you. Yeah, it says on the agenda for informational purposes. I got you. So all we're doing is just a motion and a second to name Marshall Boyd, basically to replace Mr. Sumner. Any discussion to that motion?
And that will go to commission.
And that will go to the full commission.
Yeah.
The other one will not.
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next is item H. Mayor, do you have anything else that you want to add before we?
No, sir.
What's the will of the committee?
I got questions. I think, so what's before us now, I guess as Chairman said earlier, a point of information I guess I'm seeking is this, sorry, I'm trying to get my ducks in a row. H is what we're looking at now. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
With the language?
Yes, sir.
So I guess my question is, are we a little bit out of sync by wanting to pass a resolution that has language in it, then we don't have a position that's gonna fill the resolution language? Meaning, I think we've got a position that has been filled in finance, we don't have a position to move. So I don't wanna get the cart before the horse and then,
So what, if I may,
Yeah.
just for my own.
Maybe you can help me.
Saying that, are you thinking that maybe this move to approve Marshall through the commission should take place first before this? Or
Well-
am I reading something into it that's not there?
no, I think we can go ahead with the naming the county engineer. My snag is this project manager. The language is in H, incorporates the language of project manager and all that. We don't have a project manager. So if we pass H, I'm afraid we're saying, yep, we've got a project manager, but we really don't have a project manager. So does H then become null and void because we don't have a project manager? I guess, I'm confused of how we get.
I'll direct that to the mayor.
Yeah, so we
We got-
just hired the third person as a project manager. I'm asking for that third position and letting the other two positions, see, it started as one with Kim Norfleet in working in planning. And then when that person, when Kim was moved to finance, then you hired another person, and then you had a second person helping that person, and then you just, this budget year, hired a third person. I'm asking for that third person to solely focus on project management. And that person be moved from finance down to planning.
So I guess then, I mean, that's what we signed up for, right? What happens, does the workload in finance that this third person is assumed, what are they doing?
To that point, the first grant account was hired with opioid money.
Correct.
And when that money runs out, have we built that into our budget? He's still
That's
being
a-
funded by opioid, and I think, what's the percentage of his work? The percentage of his work is for opioid and the other, so in finance right now, we have 1.25 grant people because 75 of the second belongs to opioid.
Without objection, can I ask for a suspension of the rules for,
I just need
if
clarification.
I do
you want
too.
to ask
I'm sorry.
Mr. Law, and he's here.
You got a couple of things. One, you got the opioid. Spends the majority of his time on opioids, spends about maybe 20% on other grants. The other one is right now spending the majority of their time, and the opioid too, on projects and grants. There was a third one that was put in the budget that I requested to do purchasing and projects, to help in purchasing and projects. Right now, we've hired that one because our understanding is we're getting ready to do the Sessions Court for the drug court, and several other projects are getting ready to be started. We're trying to knock several in. So you really have one that's doing, or actually three in total. One's doing about 75% opioid, the remaining is working on projects and grants. This one's doing projects and grants. The new one was to work with purchasing because they work with projects, and to work with the grant. And that person, before we knew of this, I think probably a month ago, it's been in the works now. It's been over about a month and a half, maybe two. They're supposed to be here on the 20th. They've already,
Of October.
they've already put in their resignation. They're on vacation, coming here, planning to start a job as project manager / grant / accounting. So that's kind of where we're at, because I didn't know anything about this until, I guess, whenever it came out on the agenda. Because I'm saying I'm not going to be here, so it's more maybe Mr. Browning and the new finance director and the mayor all to work out. Sounds like a restructure, but I'm not sure how we're restructured.
So I guess my dilemma is it's gonna come down to us telling the person that's hired, just kidding, you're not gonna get the job you interviewed for if we move it. We're gonna give them this planning job, project manager's job in engineering zoning or engineering codes, and they may not know anything from engineering codes. So, where does that leave us?
Well, if they're hired as a project manager, I would hope that they are qualified to be a project manager.
Sure, but not to belabor the point or argue that he said they was for accounting, purchasing, and projects.
All the way through, yeah, they're all through.
I mean, I don't,
So who does projects? You've got three up there that give a percentage of time towards projects. I say we give one person that's dedicated to projects. We have a lot of projects going on.
I'm gonna add to it sounds like.
Mr. Baker, you were next.
Why do we want to rescind this? What's the
My understanding is in order to pull all of the building stuff under care and custody of the mayor and have finance focus solely on finance and grants. And that's my understanding. Mr. Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. So I understand Commissioner Rogers' comment here about the project manager being mentioned in here when there is currently no project manager in this department. And given the fact that the person is, I guess, starting here next Monday, the project manager role itself, or that position, it might be best to for the budget committee to take that up, or for that to be taken up during the budget cycle. And if we want to move that head count over at that point in time, it might make sense. So I'll make a motion to approve this resolution with the project manager notation being removed, and then it could be added back in if that head count moves over during the budget cycle. That's my motion.
Motion, for a second? I'll second it for
Second.
discussion.
Yeah, I'll take,
Oh,
so,
okay. Mr. Brown.
you can have the second there, Chairman, I don't want to take that away. So I guess who would this person report to? Still to finance? I'm asking the.
For the time being, that's my understanding. So,
I just got to look at this quickly because I didn't
Right.
realize it had hit, but, so I went to the 81 Act and the 2012 Act. We can disagree on which one we're under, but, both of them put procurement under the Office of the Finance Director. So we're gonna have some oversight issues here.
Procurement of what?
Any procurement. So it's gonna be a funding issue that's gonna go right back to the finance director or his designated appointee, which puts some of these positions still within his purview. And one of the things I saw in here was something about a selection committee or procurement official. I don't know what a selection committee is. I've never heard that term here before. So I don't know if that's a committee that needs to be created or.
It has to do with the choosing of an architect.
I don't know. So do we need to have some sort of bona fide county committee that does that, or? Okay. Then I guess somebody need to take a look at how you want to form that. But that's the only issues that I had out of this was, I don't think you can get finance completely out of this, and as far as the authority that he's got being over procurement, and then just possible audit
Well,
issues.
procurement, the way I understand it, would be like any kind of purchasing,
Mhm.
correct? So, I mean, I don't think I don't think the mayor's trying to take
Yeah,
that
the
away.
RFP process, the PO process, check distribution, all that stays under finance. This is merely project management, managing the day-to-day operations of that project. They still have to submit POs, they still have to submit RFPs if we do an RFP on a project. All of that still has to go through finance. We're not changing any of that, not asking for a change of that. That is clearly under the purview of the finance department. We're just talking about the actual day-to-day operations of a project. And that should fall within the mayor's office and within planning. That's the most synergistic way to do those projects, because they should be having day-to-day communications on that.
So the motion on the floor is to approve the policy with the exception of the project manager language.
Mhm.
And that would be handled during the next budget cycle. That's the motion on the floor.
Correct.
Any discussion, any further discussion to that motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm gonna abstain because I'm not sure.
Robert abstains, passes 401. Next item of business is the courthouse grant, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, this is just for permission. I will tell you on the onset, this deadline came up on us quickly. We did do an inspection of the building, and we're working with an engineering firm that is going to do some free synopsis of the building and what they think we need. We've been working with Dustin Owens in Finance Department on this, and you should have a piece of paper that has a summary.
By the way, this is not the new courthouse. This is
No,
the old
this is the old
courthouse on the square.
We're in the process of getting the remaining items out of it. And at some point, we're gonna have to start the discussion of what we do with that building. And right now, this grant is just we're asking for permission to apply for it. We will bring it back to you with a better synopsis of what we can do with it and the phases that we can do with the grant. Now, I will tell you on the onset, for the grant, we're a tier 1 county, so the grant's a 50-50 grant, which means we have to come up, we're gonna apply for the full amount, $500,000, see if we can get it, but we still have to be able to match that. So that will be a discussion for that time, if we're willing to match that $500,000. And it's just before this body, if y'all want us to pursue that or not.
At some point, we're gonna have to do something with it. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, any discussion?
At least an application.
All in favor? Yes, sir.
What did you say the time frame was on this grant?
I don't have it.
Says right there.
Time frame on implementation.
Time
Now,
frame
the
on-
application's due next month.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's due next month. Yeah.
Gotcha. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion Griffin approved, 10.
And we got Jay.
What?
Sorry,
What's that?
Oh, it's library.
Jay's a library.
Jay.
sorry.
So close.
I'll turn it over to Commissioner Burke.
I went to state trustee training to discuss, we had lots of discussions. And one of the, in talking to state, they think that a 7-member board works better. I've had other people ask to get it down to 7 members. And so I'm bringing the resolution to put it at 7 members, so that we can have everything at the table and do it that way. And that's
Second.
really.
If that's a motion.
Yeah, that's the motion. The motion.
Second.
Motion and second to
Mr.
approve this
Chairman.
resolution. Yes, sir.
This has not always been 9 members anyway, has it not? This was, I mean, do we know how long they've had 9 members? Because I can't never remember in the past years past years.
It's, if I may, or-
Yes,
my recollection, which may be completely wrong, is that it was 11 and there was the desire to take it to 7 and we compromised at 9.
Gotcha.
So if that's wrong, I'm not purposely making that up, but that's fine. I see it heading on.
I'm gonna
so-
quote you on Facebook.
Yeah. So,
Motion second to approve the resolution as presented. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Rogers, now, you're
Motion to group and approve item number 10.
second.
second. As a motion second. Any discussion? By the way, just for anybody that doesn't have this, these are resolutions honoring Mr. Lawing, Mr. Sudoff, Buddy Schaefer, presenting the service weapon to Deputy Soares, who passed away, and also the suicidal awareness proclamation that we're going to do on Commission Night, specifically in memory of the young lady that took her life in Portland. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
motion adjourned.
Second.
Motion adjourned, second. We're done.